Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another session of the Launch and Learn series. I am Miracle Obiora, a digital marketing intern here at Futuresoft. Launch and Learn is a bi-weekly program where each staff gets to train people on topics relating to our industry. If today is your first time joining us, you're welcome. Peter Faruna, our key account manager, will be facilitating today's session on the topic digital marketing that delivers from campaigns to conversions. Kindly mute your mic as we continue with the session. And if you have questions to ask as the session goes on, kindly drop them in the chat and they'll be addressed by Peter after his presentation. Thank you for your cooperation. Over to you, Peter.
Hi, thank you, Miracle. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Peter Faruna. Key account manager here at Futuresoft. So today we'll be discussing digital marketing that delivers for campaigns to conversion. So basically going to be talking about we're basically going to be talking about the evolution of digital marketing landscape, the pillars of digital success, and then aligning your marketing goals with business outcomes, and then the current trends to watch. Initially, this was I called this future trends to watch, but then I looked at it and I said, oh, these things are already being used by a lot of brands and organizations. So the current trends to watch. How can we use them better? Also look at those. Then we'll have a brief example of a campaign roadmap to actually generate how you can drive your campaign from campaigns to conversions, basically. So I'll start with this quote that says, it's not about being everywhere online. It's about showing up where it matters most and making it count, right? So for your business, what are you doing that is actually, where is it relevant, basically? You are not doing something that you're not positioning yourself. It's more about brand positioning, right? You want to position yourself where it actually gives meaning or gives value at the end of the day. You would not want to be an organization or a brand that you have like content where it really does not matter or it doesn't actually cater to the people at that particular platform or whatever platform it is that you want to actually put your content on your brand, whatever it is that you're actually doing. So I'll move on to the to this first section that says the evolving digital marketing landscape, right? And this speaks to how we now live in a mobile first world, right? Unlike before, where people would go to you have people going to even going as far as going to a cyber cafe to get an information. Now you have people accessing information on their phone. Most people actually check an information on their phone before they even want to go to their laptop or even they want to watch it on the TV. And also you can see that right now you have, and then when you're on your phone you have access to different types of content, different types of platform, and then you can't actually spread your attention across all these places as well. So you now get to understand that the attention span of people are actually shrinking, right? Because you have endless information. I'm sure you've been in a situation where you get on probably you see and highlights you see highlights on a platform, you go on that platform, and while you're on that platform, something else comes up, and you just jump on it, and then you just look at you see the fact that, oh, I was on X 5 minutes ago, all of a sudden I'm on Instagram because something popped up that I had to look at there. So it's very important that for you to actually succeed in the digital space now, you have to have like a structured system, rather than you just having like efforts to actually push it out. So what are you doing? How are you positioning yourself as a brand? What messages are you passing on? What value are you driving to your consumers, your audience? So I think it's very important for you to actually know that for you to succeed in the digital marketing space, you must have like a structure, which we're still going to delve into at a later part during this session. So you also have an integrated approach where you can have like you have your strategy, your content, your campaigns, and then your analytics. They all work together to achieve your outcome. So if you see how people consume content today, um, you can see that study shows that people decide within seconds whether to engage or scroll past, right? I think about a week ago, I was telling a colleague of mine about, generated the content. I liked the content, but they were mostly in the caption. And I said, would you mind putting this in a um, would you mind putting this in a slide format so that people would actually engage properly? And she was of the opinion that, okay, I actually read captions, right? But if you look at it these days, I know a lot of us right now, I most times I look at the content first and see if it's even relevant sometimes before I even read the caption. So it's very important to know how to capture people from both areas. Are you going to capture them with the visuals? Obviously, we know that people are actually drawn to visuals more than text these days. So it's very important to know how to position your brand in terms of this. And then you have this content overload, which I already mentioned about, right? You have thousands of ads, you see these different posts. So the challenge is now standing out. So you have to stand out. What makes you different from others? Why are you interested? Right. So that's very important. Um, so why doesn't the old approach work anymore? Right. In the past, you have a lot of brands, they come up with random posting without a plan. And you can see that your efforts are being wasted. You run ads without knowing your audience, you've wasted money as well, right? Then you're chasing likes and followers, right? In as much as this is vanity, it's nice to have, right? To see that people are actually, you're getting followers, getting likes, right? But what is the end game? What is it generating for you at the end of the day? Are those followers actually active followers? Are they liking your post? Are they saving your post for future purpose? Are they trying to engage with what you're doing? So, it actually really matters, right? So even if you're driving this community of people and you're not making sales, it's more like you're still wasting your effort and also wasting money, right? So today, what success looks like today is, very straightforward. You have structure over scatter, right? So you must be systematic and, you must improvise and ensure that, what I'm actually pushing out is reaching the right people, the people I want to reach, right? You also want to think about, integration, right? Um, your strategy, your content, your ads, your campaigns and your ads, and your analytics must work hand in hand, right? They all must work hand in hand because without one, the other fails. And then you have data-driven decisions, right? In as much as we know that it's actually we've been, looking at, you've been looking at your insights, right, in a way that you can look at it from a perspective of, this is what works. But now AI is also part of um, this. AI can also help you streamline and show you what actually really works, and this also saves you time, as opposed to when from back in the days, maybe you go check you check an ad, you try to maybe jot one or two things down, but AI now actually gives you like a very faster way for you to actually know what works, and then you can also use that measurement to actually generate a new line of like audience when you want to do. When you want to work on another campaign in the future, right? So it makes it easier and faster, basically. Right. So now we'll be moving on to the four pillars of digital success. And this is, I think, like important part of this presentation because without one part, the other is irrelevant, right? So I'll start off with strategy, pillar one strategy, right? So in simple terms, right, you have strategy is the big picture plan that gives direction and purpose to all your digital marketing activities, right? It is the why and the how behind everything you do online, right? So working on your strategy, there are key questions that you need to ask as for your brand when you want to work on your brand. And the first one is, what do you actually want to achieve, right? So we know that different businesses have different goals, right? So some people want to increase brand awareness. others want to generate leads, and some are purely focused on driving sales, right? But the interesting part about this is for you to actually drive sales, you have to also have brand awareness, right? People have to know who you are, right? Then it's like it's a step by step. You have to, people have to know who you are. You can then talk about generating leads, and then from there you can also talk about converting those leads. So these are all important aspects. But you do have brands that also want to just generate brand awareness. For example, maybe a religious organization that wants to push out an event and just want people to know about that event and hoping that people will actually get to come. At the end of the day, it's still generating leads because you want people to come for your event. So it's very important. So with that clear objectives, you will know whether your digital efforts are working or not. So it's very important for you to know what you want to achieve. Secondly, what are you trying to reach, right? So it's understanding your target audience, right? What are they? What platforms do you think that these audiences are going to be on? And also look at your own brand and see what the relevance to that platform. What are their pain points? What are their needs and what are their motivations? So without this research, right, your content and your ads, your campaigns are missing the mark, right? So if you don't have a clear, definitive approach to this, you won't know what to actually do at the end of the day. Another question you need to ask yourself is how do I position yourself, right? How do you position yourself? You're in a different, like there's this saying that says there's no idea that is original, right? So you can come up with an idea and somebody else is working on something that is similar or might not be exactly the same, but it's similar. So now how do you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself from your competitors, right? What is your UVP, your unique value proposition, right? You need to know what that is, right? So that you know why it will be you can even create your content around that to let people know this is why you should choose us, right? So why should customers choose you? The strategy defines your unique voice and message that stands you out, right? So and then another question is what is the roadmap, right? How do you want to how do you want to drive this? So for the strategy you need to outline your channels, content formats, kind of campaigns that you use to reach your goal, right? And here you have, for example, you prioritize Instagram Reels, LinkedIn Thoughts Leadership posts, or Google Ads, depending on what you actually want to push out. Why are you pushing Google Ads? What are you trying to drive for that brand? Why are you working on Instagram Reels for your brand? It depends, right, on what it is that you're actually pushing out exactly. So each platform plays a different role in the customer journey, and a good strategy aligns them all, right? So how will you now measure success? If you want to measure your success, it's simple, right? It doesn't just stop at planning, right? You have to define your key performance indicators from the beginning, right? Um, so you start a campaign. Your key performance indicators could be, for example, I am a bank trying to drive in at least 1,000 registered accounts in the next 3 months, right? And I work on a campaign that speaks to people driving, coming to register register accounts with the bank. So my KPI is 1,000, right? I'm trying to get 1,000 customers. What other KPIs will I be interested in driving? At least to reach at least maybe 10,000 people or maybe 20,000 people. And then at the end of the day, the key, but the primary goal is to actually generate 1,000 accounts. But you also have to reach people to actually get that progress. Right? So this ensures that you're not just active online, but you're effective, right? Because the more people see your brand, the more likely you are going to engage. So move to the next, which is the pillar two, content. So this is the voice of your brand. This is the person this is what speaks for you, right? And your content must resonate with your audience. If it doesn't resonate, all your efforts even if you are running ads, if you're doing campaigns and all, you would actually meet the right audience. So we also know that today's audience don't want to be sold to, they want value. So it's very important not to be salesy, right? You don't want to be in their face every time, trying to tell them buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. And I think a good way to do that is to, through your brand, you can educate, you can inspire, or even create a good laugh, right? Which this content states here, right? Content and people actually relate to what gives them, something meaningful in return. I think I've seen a couple of, even as far as content creators, and I'm like, oh, okay, this person actually gives the kind of information I want to, even though it's funny, maybe it's a comedian or something, but sometimes they have, things that are valuable, or they could have things relating to maybe a job role, and you get to see it, and and it becomes interesting, right? So this is why storytelling has become one of the most powerful tools in modern marketing. So you shift your focus from pushing products to building genuine connections, and that also makes people comfortable with your brand. If you have like content that they can relate to and resonate to, once you tell them, oh, okay, we have this thing to sell. Obviously, there's the let me support this brand because they've also given to me. They've given value to me, right? So I also want to give value to them, because so they keep giving me the value that I've actually been seeing from the onset. So it's more like a give and take um, scenario. And so but it states here that powerful storytelling doesn't just happen by chance. So it's anchored by in clarity, right? So you do need to have messaging pillars, right? Without your messaging pillars, you cannot actually ensure consistency across every touch point. So, what are your messaging pillars? What do you want to speak about on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis? What are your tactics? What do you do on a monthly? What do you do with your blog posts? What do you do with your newsletters? What do you do with your social media? How do you post? What do you post on Mondays? What do you post on Fridays? Things like that, right? So, your messaging pillars are like your, they guide the brand, right? They guide the brand narrative, and and they also guide your consistency. Because once you have messaging pillars, you know where to actually get your content from, or how to generate content, and it helps your creativity. So when your story reflects these core pillars, they do more than capture attention. They resonate with the right information, reinforce what your brand stands for, and invite audiences to connect more deeply with who you are. Maybe you have something that you post every Monday that resonates to somebody. That person will always come to your page on that very Monday to get the information. So here, a practical rule is like the 80-20 rule, right? So here you have like 80% of your content should provide value, right? Teach something new, share insights, or simply entertain. And this could be more than what is here, but this should just be saying that, oh, this kind of things that you can do. You can share insights. If maybe you are maybe an organization that's into health, you can share tips about health tips on a weekly basis, and people actually come to your page because they know, oh, it's actually engaging. I'm not just coming here to get information. You can share these insights, but in a fun way, right? Then you can also use the remaining 20% to directly promote your products or services, right? So that way your audience feels engaged and not pitched to, right? So you have the this is the 8-2 or 80-20 um, ratio, basically. So this is another way to actually help drive your digital success. The third one is, campaigns, right? Um, so in simple terms, here it says campaigns are the foil that amplifies your strategy. So you have a strategy, you have a strategy, you have a content, or how do make sure that people see this, right? A simple example of this is you're a new brand, right? And you barely have even even if it's you barely have even 100 followers, right? But you have a very good strategy, you have very good content, uh, and all. But then it's not getting to the number of people that you want to get it, and then plan a campaign, oh, this is what we want to do during this period. And then while planning your campaign, also having at the back of your mind that, ads are very important, right? So ads are also additional tactics that needs to be added to this. So for digital success, ads are planned, targeted campaigns designed to reach a specific people with a specific message at the time, right? So you have a product you want to sell, or you know that for example, let's use Instagram as an example. We all know what Instagram does in terms of reach. If you are pushing out if you are pushing out a still image, for example, we know that about only 5% of your actual audience will actually see that, right? So, you then think about, oh, how do we actually ensure that more people see this? And then that's when you add ads to your campaign, right? And then what does it do for you? Gives you visibility and reach, cutting through the digital noise. So while you're not just waiting for magic to happen, you're actually reaching the right people. Precision targeting, right? So unlike traditional billboards or TV or digital campaigns are laser focused, right? They speak directly to the people that you want, to reach, right? So it's not just, oh, let's have a billboard and you have like 100 cars passing that location where the billboard is, and hopefully two people out of those 100 cars will be interested in what it is. Now you can actually choose the age, the location, the interest, the behaviors. And this is, I wish I could like go into detail of, showing you what an active ad right now. But, these days you even have, you can also make mistakes even while selecting, these things. So you have to be very careful to be specific on age, location, interest, and behaviors. What I'm saying is, for example, for Meta, you can come on Meta now and you want to pick an interest. Maybe you're selling baby clothes, right? And you mistakenly select a job title, right? So, for example, you select a job title, right? It goes to people, people in your people in your markets, people in your same market. Maybe another vendor like yourself will get to see that, oh, okay, this is who's running an ad. Also, you need to look at, oh, what the actual interest is, right? So the actual interest should be people that are actually interested in buying baby clothes, right? As opposed to vendors like yourself, right? So you're not looking at job titles, you're looking at interest, you're looking at behaviors, right? And that's why sometimes when you're on platforms like, I think it's Instagram that does this a lot, right? Where you come across, you search for maybe a vendor that sells something and you click on it. I can bet you for the next 7 days, you are seeing different ads that relate to that. Right? And that's it picking your behavior, right? You actually did something and now the platform is showing you things based on what you searched for about a week ago. And maybe after a while, when you don't engage with it, you don't see those again. So that works again. Also, it helps with scalability, right? It lets you scale on what's working. So if the campaign is bringing in leads, right? If you can see that it's bringing in leads, you'll now be encouraged to put more budget behind it and double the results. So you are getting, on a weekly basis, you're getting 100 100 people coming to purchase what you sell. Obviously, maybe you want to double it, then you can actually think about, oh, okay, since I'm getting value for this money, let me put more money behind this. And then you have speed of results. Um, it's very nice to get organic leads as well. But then if you're launching a product, you're running a promo, or and you need a quick visibility, ads deliver that push instantly. And then you have data and insights. You have access to your data and insights. So every campaign gives you data. What message resonates, what creatives work, who engages the most. The data doesn't just improve your ads, it strengthens your entire marketing strategy. All right, so this is where you can see where you test different types of ads and see which one is working. You can even run like maybe 3, 4 ads at a time, and you point out the one that works and the one that doesn't work, and go back to that one that doesn't work and then edit. I think there have been situations like that in the past where currently running an ad or running 2 ads and you see that one's delivering more than the other. I'm wondering why. And then you go back, check what's working from the other and then apply it to this and then it works. So yeah, that's the advantages of campaigns and ads, right? And then you have pillar 4, the analytics, right? So this states here that in simple terms, analytics are the GPS that drives you to digital success, right? So in short, it tells you what's working and what's not and what to do next, all right? So there's performance tracking, right? Which I already just spoke about. You can check if people are clicking on your campaigns, on your ads, are they watching your videos, are they visiting your website, are they making purchases? So analytics, answers all this, right? For example, you have Google Ads. For example, you have an e-commerce platform and you have Google Ads on it. It shows you like the customer journey from, oh, this is where they dropped off, right? It could show you where they put it in the cart, where people dropped off. And that's why sometimes when you go to platforms when you go to all these e-commerce platforms, for example, you have like uh, a Jumia, right? You pick an item, right? And you don't check out. The likelihood of you getting an email following it to say, oh, you've not completed your purchase or this is still available is very high. So it's that's them saying that, oh, somebody actually dropped off and let's retarget. So they're retargeting you and sending you these messages again for you to actually drop off. Gives you customer insights, which are also just mentioned during performance tracking, how people behave online, what they like, what they skip, when they drop off, and what makes them buy. So this is gold for tailoring content and offers. And then you have optimization, right? It helps you make data-driven decision, right? You can adjust your strategy, improve your ads, or refine your content based on an actual evidence, not assumptions, right? So you have this blueprint that shows you what's working. So based off that, you can actually take out what is not working and work with what's working. And then you can continue optimizing. And sometimes even what's working can actually go, should I say, out of style, because maybe the audience is adjusting. So you need to actually really look at it again. ROI measurement, right? So here you have, at the end of the day, every business wants to know, is this worth the money? So this shows you like, if I'm spending $1 million, how much am I getting in return, right? So, or if there's a plan, right? Sometimes you have to be realistic. You can come on as a new brand, sometimes you can actually spend a lot of money without returns, maybe for the first or 2 or 3 months, because it's like a long game. People have to know who you are. They have to be comfortable with you. And sometimes you also need to, if you are working with, maybe a marketing team, or if you are also working with a client, this needs to be very clear, and this information needs to be shared properly. Clear communication to also know what is going to be the end game of whatever it is that we're doing at the moment. So yeah, we'll move on to the future planning, right? So it doesn't just analytics doesn't just tell you about today. By spotting trends, they help you predict future behavior and prepare smarter campaigns. And now, thank God you have AI tools to actually help you amplify your efforts when it comes to this. So you need to move beyond vanity metrics like likes and impressions and focus on KPIs that matter, right? Not that not like impressions don't matter, right? So because impressions is more like, oh, this particular person has seen it so number of times. But you need to focus on KPIs that matter. So what is your cost per lead? What's your conversion rate? What's your customer acquisition cost? And what's your lifetime value, right? I had done a session that speaks to all this before. I would have loved to make a reference to it, but if you visit the FutureSoft YouTube page, you will get to see a breakdown of the conversion rates, how to calculate your cost per lead, your customer acquisition cost, etc. They're all there. So now we have the pillars framework, right? So in essence, right, these 4 pillars to digital success, they are all important. So without strategy, you are moving literally like a headless chicken, right? And without content, you're also moving, you know, like someone that doesn't know where it's going to. So yeah, you're in your car, but you don't have a GPS. Sorry, without content you have without content you have the map, you have the phone, you have the GPS, but you don't have the car. All right, and without your campaigns, you have the map, you have the car, but you don't have the phone, but you have the GPS, and so it doesn't work. So one without one, the other doesn't work. And then without analytics, which is the GPS, you can have the map, you can have the car, you can have your phone, but you won't know when you arrive because you don't know where you're going to. Basically, there has to be a stop point, there has to be an end game. So strategy shows you where you're going to, and how to get there. Content shows you how to move your brand forward. Campaigns accelerate your journey, right? And then analytics tracks your progress. Once your wrong turns and recalculates the routes, right? So, for example, you are obviously driving and you pass a turn, right? It tells you to come back and correct that. So basically, it's just using this as like a map, a car, fall, and GPS. So they're all very important. They're all very important to each other. So it's very important that you go through this route if you want to work, if you want to achieve digital success. So you want to also avoid common campaign pitfalls. So it says here that if you have good ideas, campaigns often fail because of these common mistakes, right? So you don't have KPIs. I already mentioned that you don't have a KPI, then why are you actually pushing out a campaign? Why are you running an ad? Why not? How do you want to define your success without that? So for every campaign that you're pushing out, what is your target? Is it that you want to go past what you've spent, or you want to make it times 10, make it times 5, or are you trying to drive people to actually come to a landing page, whatever it is, right? But there needs to be a KPI. You can't copy and paste strategies, right? Of course, you have one brand. You have one brand. You have um, content pillars that you're already working around with. You have messaging pillars are already working around with. You have all these things in place, but it doesn't mean that at every given time, a campaign that works in in the summer would work maybe during the new year or something, right? So you need to know, is this going to work during Christmas, or is it going to work during the new year? Is it going to work during the second quarter of the year or third quarter of the year? Because you have to actually know what is unique to a particular campaign you're working on. So you cannot copy strategies. You need to know what works for one for your brand. So what works for one industry may fail for another. And even within one industry, right, you still have to have like different kind of strategies for when you want to push out your campaigns. Over reliance on paid ads, right? So you have paid ads without organic credibility. That can also backfire, right? So organic builds trust and ad scaling. So how do we actually get this organic trust, right? It's you working on your content, you pushing out the right type of content, working around your messaging pillar to ensure that you drive the right information. So ads just scale. It doesn't give you. It's not the. It's without that part of you coming up with the right content, even with your ads, you're just wasting your time. And then you have poor landing pages. It also says that even the best ad will fail if the website or landing page is slow, confusing, or convincing. So at every point in time, you have to carry your audience along. What is it what are you pushing out, right? What do you want them to understand by what it is you're doing? So if I come to a landing page and I'm confused and I don't know what to click, no buttons to click, or what to do, I don't know what to do next, or there's no email to contact, there's no phone number to contact, there's no purchase button, what am I really doing on that landing page? So you can have a good you can have a good campaign, and maybe if you have a landing page and you want to walk around it and it's not proper, people will actually drop off when they get there. And at the end of the day, when you look at your analytics, it will in turn be your fault because you did not actually ensure that the customer journey from start to finish was actually smooth. It's very important. So the solution here is to customize strategy, combine paid and organic content, and invest in conversion optimized landing pages. Right. So yeah, we'll move into the next section that says aligning marketing goals with business outcomes. Right. So I think this still speaks to part of what I said earlier. Right. So what you have your business. So what's the ultimate purpose of you actually doing your marketing in the first place? Right. At the end of the day, you want people to engage. You want people to whatever it is that you want them to purchase. You want them to join, probably open an account or something. At the end of the day, you're actually driving your business growth. So it's good to actually create buzz, but at the end of the day, the end goal is to actually drive business. Um, so this here says that so often businesses may fall into trap of celebrating surface level metrics like likes, shares, or comments without asking the bigger question: how does this affect the bottom line? Right? What is it going to? How is it going to? What's going to be the end result of this? So for you to achieve this, your marketing goals must be tightly aligned with broader business outcomes such as revenue growth, customer acquisition, and retention. You want to actually you actually want to grow. You actually want to make sales. You also want to acquire customers. You don't want to acquire a customer that um, purchases from you once and doesn't come back because probably your product is not good enough. So that's where retention comes in. So keyword, are you actually pushing? So I think the key question here would now be, as a business, are you actually pushing out the right um, type of product and services? Is it good? Have you compared it to your competitors? How is it better than what your competitors are doing? I think it's a very important question for you to actually even know before you know that, oh, you're going to actually generate results. Because everybody, um, for example, everybody sells bread. Everybody, all different businesses sells water. They are different, but what is your strategy? How do you actually want to ensure that people are coming back to you? For example, last example I made for a business that sells maybe bottled water and all. I'm sure you've heard, oh, this brand's water is actually better. I've actually, there's a particular, I'm not going to mention that name. There's a particular bottled water that, I dread whenever I see because the water feels heavy. Whenever I drink it, I feel like there's something that hits my stomach. So I'm always like criticizing that bottle water. I'm like, no, that bottle water is not good at all, right? So that's the impression that they gave me, right? So even if now maybe they're better now, but I already have that impression about them that, oh, okay, this is how their water is. Their water is like this, so I don't want to buy their water. But what if it's actually better now? I might never know. Maybe when I go to an event and then I don't have a choice to drink any type of water, and then I have to drink that water. Then that's the only way that I'll know, oh, okay, this is actually better now and all. So it's very important to have the right type of products and services that you actually want to push out for you to actually generate your revenue growth, acquire customers, and then retain your customers. Very important. So how do you want to achieve your marketing goals? So think of marketing as a starting point in a journey that must lead directly to sales and customer loyalty. So it begins with awareness, right? We are using campaigns and content to make people aware of your brand products and services. From there, the next step is lead generation, where prospects engage with your brand and enter your pipeline. But awareness and leads alone are not enough, right? So that's what I'm saying about your products and services. Are they good enough to actually keep these people that actually saw your brand and are actually interested in purchasing whatever it is that you're actually pushing out? So that's where nurturing comes in building relationships by providing value-driven content that answers questions, solve problems, positions your brand as trustworthy. So whatever, if it's content you're pushing out, if it's the kind of problem that you solve and they see that, oh, this solves a problem, you have to ensure that you're actually trustworthy. You actually have to ensure that you give them the same value over and over or even better, right? And if it gets better, just trust me, those people will become ambassadors of your brand, sorry. So once trust is established, Prospects can then be converted into paying customers through an optimized sales funnel, right? This is where alignment between marketing and sales is most critical. So a strong funnel ensures prospects don't just drop off after a first interaction, but instead move steadily toward purchase, right? So beyond acquisition, the final piece of the puzzle is customer retention, right? You want to repeat sales, you want referrals, you want long-term loyalty, often driven more growth than first-time customers, right? So someone that has actually used your brand before, whenever they think of oh, using water as an example again. Oh, if you want to drink water in this patch, because maybe for example, maybe I have a friend that doesn't stay in Lagos and comes to Lagos from wherever part of the country or maybe outside the country. I'm like, oh, if you're going to drink any water while you're around, this is water you should drink, right? This is me making referrals. I'm also still purchasing from that brand. I'm also making referrals to these new people. The brand is not paying me any money for this. I'm only making a recommendation based on what I have done because of my good experience with them, and that's that. So it still says here that a happy customer doesn't just buy again; they become your brand ambassador. So, for example, instead of celebrating 10,000 likes on Instagram, what your business should be asking is how many customers came from that campaign, what was the cost per acquisition, and how much lifetime revenue is each new customer bringing, right? So, what this means is basically this. I know you might have a question about the lifetime revenue. You have a customer, right? You have uh, 15 customers, but about 8 of them are regular customers. And you know that every month, these people must buy at least a worth of 1 million naira products from me. This is your lifetime revenue that you get from them. There's a trust that you've already built with them, which is very key. And sometimes that's why you see here that they are more important. They give more growth than first-time customers. But that doesn't mean that your first-time customers should not be your brand ambassadors. It just means that they are as important as your first-time customers. So it's very important for you to actually keep this in the loop to ensure that you give them the right products and services. So what's the framework to this, right? You have marketing, you have leads, you have sales, and then you have your customer retention. So the first thing is brand awareness, lead generation, regional marketing, right? And then you have your leads, nurturing your prospects through your value-driven content. And then you have your sales, closing deals through optimized funnels. And then customer retention, which is key here, is to repeat sales, referrals, and have a customer loyalty. So we have a quote here that says, setting realistic expectations is key. Marketing is a long game and not an overnight miracle. So you have to ensure that your KPIs are, in place. You also have to understand that not every stage converts to sales, right? So you have the marketing, you have the leads, and then you have the sales, right? So moving on to current trends to watch, right? You have current trends to watch. The first one is AI in content and targeting, right? Of course, we all know that AI has done a lot in the past 4 to 5 years. And it's now the backbone of modern digital campaigns, right? So it helps us analyze data, predict customer behavior, and even create content faster. Now, so for instance, now you have AI power tools that can identify which type of blog, ad creative, or email subject line is more likely to resonate with the target audience. Now, this is also very interesting because even down to um, platforms like, for example, platforms like LinkedIn. Um, you can optimize your profile even with tools like ChatGPT. You can go there. Oh, this is what I do. This is what I do. Please, give me like a SEO friendly bio, something that will make people search, right? So you have these situations where you work with this, and then when people are looking for people that do this or people that do that, you see that you come up in the search, and that's AI helping you optimize, right? In terms of blog as well, you can actually help you point out this is what is going to work. Add creatives as well, right? And even on Meta, you have this AI on Meta now that actually helps you add creative. So an example that we do have here is a clothing e-commerce brand that could use Meta Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, which is on Meta now. It helps on it has on Facebook and Instagram. So instead of manually choosing audiences, the AI automatically learns who is most likely to buy based on behavior and intent, right? It means that this AI has seen that, oh, this person actually goes to the checkpoint of purchasing. So let's show this type of people. The AI also tests multiple ad creatives and formats in real time, pushing the winning combinations to the right people. So resulting in higher conversions and real cost per acquisition, right? And another key thing to work on around this is with a good budgeting and a good time frame, this actually gives like a very good result. Still on AI and content targeting. So there's some tool suggestions here. So there's better ads, AI power targeting for precision and ad delivery. You have ChatGPT for content planning and ideation. Jasper AI or copy.ai to generate on brand ad copy variations in seconds, right? And then there's 7 cents for email. Uses AI to send emails to each content at the time that they're most likely to open. Right? You can integrate this into your mailing list. You want to send out a mail, but then it helps you send to different emails when they're most likely to open them. Then you have Google Performance Max campaigns, right? Which is this is about 2 years. It's not up to 2 years, anyways. It's about 2 years that Google Ads actually introduced this. Leverages AI to optimize ads across all Google platforms simultaneously. These are actually very interesting tools that you can actually look at. Then you have personalization at scale. So today's customers expect brands to know them, right? And this is not in a creepy way, like it says here, but in a way that makes interactions feel relevant and valuable, right? So this means that using your data at scale and technology to deliver, individualized experiences to thousands or millions of people without manually crafting each one, right? And that's why we have, for example, I know a lot of us know this already, like email personalization, where you pick the first name and all. But then here we have a more interesting example that says, imagine an online food delivery service, but instead of sending every customer the same promo code, the business uses the dynamic personalization. Now, what does that do? So, for example, that the brand knows that, this particular person, Mr. A, usually buys vegetarian meals, and then Mr. B, I'm adding my mind at this point, buys a lot of chicken burger or something. So it will now make recommendations to that person that actually buys the vegetarian meals, like, and also when when they actually see when they want to actually see those kind of products, they hop on maybe on the platform and they see those recommendations for them because they made such purchases. And then you have late night customers receiving promo codes valid after 9 p.m. Right? They know that on this platform, there's a the AI tool or whatever it is that they're using has noticed that this person actually orders past this time. So AI can also help you customize and say, okay, give them a valid promo code after 9 p.m. because they always order from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. They're late night customers. Right? So this creates the one-to-one experience at a massive scale, driving higher engagement and loyalty. They would feel maybe everybody in that organization knows who they are personally because they've taken my information. But then it could be the AI tool that helps them, streamline this and generate this for them. Still on this, we have two suggestions. You have HubSpot or Salesforce Marketing Cloud to segment audiences and deliver personalized email web experiences, right? Then you have Dynamic Yield, AI-driven personalization engine for websites and apps. Then you have Klaviyo, right, for e-commerce brands to personalize SMS and email campaigns based on browsing and purchasing behaviors. So these are other tools that you can actually look at for this. Well, you have automation, right? So automation has shifted from being nice to have to a must have. And this is true. Um, because you don't know how much your audience can go in the long run. And do you have the workforce to actually handle this? So from email sequences that just leads to chatbots and provide instant customer support. The automation saves time and ensures consistent engagement with audiences. So it also allows businesses to scale without needing to manually handle every interaction. And that's why you have a lot of people who job using things like chatbots, generate a chatbot that is very, very intelligent. It's not just any type of chatbot anymore. As we all know, AI is evolving. We've seen different things in the past months. We've seen AI doing very amazing things. So yeah, so you can integrate that into um, your automation, and you can see how effective it becomes. So, example, e-commerce stores often use abandoned cart email automation to recover lost sales and many customers products that they left behind. So goes back, reminds them on a daily basis. And you could remind them, oh, to an extent that maybe, or and sometimes it could be that the customer wasn't interested again, or sometimes it could be customer forgot. So the reminders actually do like a solid job for you as a brand because it then reminds them and actually drive sales for you. So the two suggestions for this is Zapier for workflow automation. You have MailChimp for email marketing automation. You have Drift or Intercom for chatbot powered customer service, which can be very intelligent, right? Depending on the type of code that you use. So then we have short form video dominance, right? So we all know that videos is like one of the best ways to capture attention these days because it's very interactive. People want to see live performance of things that in use. For example, maybe you have a mat, clay mat, um, and you show them how it's being used, or you show them on how the kid is sitting on it, on how it's being used. So it's very good for high scalability, and we know that they actually for platforms like Instagram, it helps you generate very organic views. And then you could actually even be on like TikTok as well, and then it helps you it places you in a place where more people see your brand without even running ads at all. So this means that even small brands can go viral if their content resonates, right? So it doesn't matter if, oh, I don't have a lot of followers, but if your video is, yeah, your video can resonate with people, can actually engage people, and this can be key drivers of brand awareness, customer trust, and sale conversions, right? And here we have a skincare, as an example, we have a skincare brand that doesn't just run polished ads anymore. Instead, they create quick, authentic videos like a dermatologist explaining in 30 seconds how to fix dry skin, right? Or a customer doing a before and after using social proof. This is for social proof. And then the trending meme adapted to highlight a new serum, whatever it is, for entertainment. But then at the end of the day, this also, helps to drive customer trust and brand awareness. So each clip is short, relatable, and optimized for shareability, and posting consistent and by posting consistently, the brands build a loyal community and drives direct sales through in-video shopping links. And this is true because I've come across videos of like, oh, do this, or this, if you do this, it's going to work. Maybe a health tip, oh, you need to all this about this work for your body. And then I go online and also check, oh, what's the benefit of this? And I'm like, oh, this video is good. Let me keep it as a guide for what I want to do in the future. So it's very important. Right. So I think this is the last section, and this will be speaking to an example of a campaign roadmap, right? So ideally, the campaign is structured across three main stages with each unique objective and tactics, right? So you have the stages, you have the stage awareness, concentration, conversion. For awareness, obviously, we want to reach new audience and build a brand recall for the objectives, right? We want to nurture interest for concentration and build trust. And then for conversions, we want to turn prospects into customers, drive action, purchase, sign up, demo. And then for tactics and activities that needs to be done during this period, under awareness, you have your paid ads, you have things like SEO, blog posts, in the social media content. And an example for this is a health fitness startup runs Instagram ads targeting 25 to 35-year-olds interested in fitness, right? So you want to run ads to engage these people. You want to write kind of blog posts that also interest them, maybe that speaks to health and fitness. I want to create social media content that is engaging to them. Then for consideration, right? You also want to offer like things like a free ebook, 10 tips for smarter workouts, right? To get to people who clicked on your earlier ads, you give them that free book and a free ebook, and they read through it, and then obviously they'll have more questions, right? And then that's when you want to come back, or you want to look at the services that you offer for the fact that you actually have this knowledge. And then conversions, you want to drive your traffic to your landing page, offering maybe a first 20% discount off if it's your based on your health consultation, or maybe a fitness tip, or maybe if you maybe the startup also has like a gym, you can give them like an offer, a discount or first purchase, or maybe a first subscription for this and that. So that's like a basic, this is like a basic example to showcase the awareness, concentration, and conversion stage, right? So ideally, your awareness should have like slightly the higher budget. This is because people do not know you, and you want them to actually get to jump on what you're about. So you have your budget as 40% awareness, 30% consideration, 30% conversion, right? So here you have awareness. For awareness, you have your social ads, SEO blogs. You can also collaborate with like influencers to have like a more organic reach, right? And you put your budget, spend it on all on this, right? 40% of the budget. And then for your consideration stage, which is the retargeting, like I said earlier, right? Maybe you have a retargeting ad that gives a free ebook. You have webinars that is speaks to health related topics, right? Then you have free guides as well, or how to burn this fat in so days and all. And then for conversion, obviously we are going to have landing pages, CTAs, and sales offer, right? Which will also put 30% on this. Thankfully, you have platforms now that actually run ads for only sales. So for those type of ads, you will see that you might not even get to see your maybe likes or shares or things like that. You only see how many sales you make. But you are seeing you're seeing how many people that are landing on that particular page, right? So this is very important to share it in this manner. Um, so an example budget distribution, right? We have which I already mentioned. So your budget allocation should go as 40, 30, 30, right? So 40% for awareness, 30% consideration, 30% conversion. Reasoning for awareness, you need to cast a wide net to attract your new audiences. Consideration, you need to retarget to ensure you don't waste your initial spend. And then for conversion, you need to push warm leads to finally make a purchase. So the distribution ensures balance. You're not overspending on awareness without nurturing, and you're not forcing conversions before building trust. Because if I trust you and I see your ad again, I'll definitely engage, right? So why this works? For you to by combining the structured funnel stages, right? The right tools, a smart budget allocation, you make campaigns measurable, repeatable, and growth driven. So instead of asking, did our ads get likes? You're asking how many people enter the funnel, how many people move to the next stage, and how much revenue did we generate, right? So this is very important. So this turns your marketing from a cost center into a growth driver. So in conclusion, right, again, digital marketing is not that truly delivers, it's not just about chasing likes, clicks, or vanity metrics, right? I'm not saying that these are not important, they're actually important. But is all about building like a structured path that takes people from awareness all the way to conversion and retention. Keyword, you want to actually have growth, whatever you're doing. So every campaign, every ad, and every piece of content should serve a clear business purpose, generating measurable growth, right? So the key is alignment. So when your marketing goes connect directly with business outcomes, when data guides decision making, and when tools like AI, automation, and analytics are used intelligently, the result is not just traffic, but you have loyal customers and you have a repeat revenue. So again, for your digital success to happen, it has to come from from this creativity, right? Not just your creativity, strategy, and execution, and your execution with measurements. What this means is creativity with strategy. The strategy has to be creative. You don't just want to create a strategy for strategy's sake. How does it actually tailor to the people you're actually driving it to? And then for your execution with measurement, you want to execute without knowing what you're doing, so you have to measure, right? So by applying the funnel approach, which is awareness, consideration, conversion, and retention, and by leveraging modern tools effectively, businesses can maximize ROI and create marketing systems that scale sustainably, right? So again, your digital success is a long game. When your campaign is designed with conversions in mind, every step moves forward to moves you closer to a meaningful growth, right? So you want to ensure that whatever you're doing actually generates, growth at the end of the day. Yes, you are pushing out, um, yes, you are pushing out content. You're not saying the conversions, but you have a plan in mind. You have a target. You know that in 1 month you want to do this. In 2 months, I want to get this done. In 3 months, I want to get this done. And then you have to keep marking your KPIs and ensure that you're getting there. So I think with this, I have come to the end of my session. If you have any questions, please you kindly ask. Thank you very much.
So Peter, I have one question. How do you think AI is going to change a lot of these? So I mean, you mentioned it as a trend, but how do you think it's going to change the way that we, I guess, look at and engage, sort of from a campaign level? And what are sort of the pros and cons of that?
Okay, so I would say for how it's going to change it is it's going to help in terms of how it optimizes your results. It's when it sees that something is not working, as opposed to when someone is behind, when you are manually monitoring these campaigns, for example, you could have a time lapse where um, a spend is going somewhere that is not relevant to it, and it's going to help you boost your sales. But at the same time, I think um, the downside to that is sometimes AI can also make wrong decisions in terms of the type of audiences. It's a tool that can help us optimize our workforce, but it also needs to be monitored, right? So I think the downside to that is the fact that sometimes it can actually push it to the wrong type of people, or maybe overspend as to maybe have a budget that needs to be spent on a daily basis, and that is already instructed. But because of the AI optimization behind it, it could actually overtake and spend more than you've actually planned. So I think one of the key things to note is monitoring, even like the AI tools that would help you um, um, optimize this efforts that we are putting in. I think that would be what my thought to that.
Thank you.
Hi, Peter. Thank you so much for that session. Just a quick question about about meta advantage. You had mentioned it, how it helps in ad delivery, but for brands that have target placement, maybe you want to entirely control where your ads are being shown, maybe from results from the past, you don't want it to go to certain placement. How do we bring this in, being that the meta advantage will show it to where it feels people will most likely engage and maybe give you the result you need. And most times those placements or those platforms are not where you would want your ad shown to. How do we balance you trying to get your result and the advantage doing its thing?
Okay, so if I get a question correctly, is what if the AI advantage pushes your ad to the wrong location,
Yes, wrong
right?
location. Yeah, different location, different platform, all of that.
Um, I believe from what I've tested before, even with the AI advantage, right? While it generates the advantage audience for you, you can also streamline the locations. There's an option to actually streamline the locations on Meta Ads. Like I said, I was saying that earlier on that I would have loved to do a practical presentation of that, but it's going to take us longer than 1 hour, right? Where you see the AI accelerated ads. You have that on LinkedIn as well. Same with Meta, right? You can also still edit that ad to your particular location and allow it to work on other things like interest, like behavior. But then you also don't want to, for example, now you have, I'm sure for this location, you also have the age in mind, right? So you can also still, you know, stay on the particular age group and on your particular locations. There's the freedom to actually do that, which I said you have the freedom to actually monitor what the AI does, right? So I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Peter. Well done.
In the absence of questions, we can now bring the session to an end. Please note that this video will be available on our YouTube channel, and if you have questions while watching the video, you can drop them in the comment section, and we'll be very happy to answer your questions. Join us next time for that session, and have a lovely day, everyone.